Wow, there it is, technology. In the middle of my live streaming, I lost everybody. So I will allow for some time for folks to rejoin. I hope that everybody has realized that we lost signal, and but I am back live. Later you will still be able to watch this, the recorded version of the live streaming. So allow me to open with a poem by Elizabeth Nguyen. And I probably did not pronounce that last name properly. For that I do apologize. This is the part let me try again. This is the part where we commandeer cruise ships for people migrating to feast at all-you-can-eat buffets and party poolside, and then split the corporate profits with the staff, right? This is the part where we teach ourselves how to make our own medicine, the kind from herbs and grandma's recipes and vaccines and antivirals and insulin and EpiPen too, right? This is the part where we open our spare rooms to college student whose school is closed, and the asylum seeker who just got out of detention, and our coworker who just got evicted, and the queer teen who needs a place to crash, right? This is the part where we feed lunch to the kid whose school is canceled and text the people who can't be in public spaces anymore, and we breathe, right? This is the part where we introduce ourselves to the neighbors we've been living to for the next 10 years. Because tomorrow we might need each other, right? This is the part where we ask, what do I really need for surviving? And find a way to seek no more and no less, right? This is the part where we stay home, we cancel, we show up, we call, we fight, we let go, we stay. We don't let anyone go it alone, right? This is the part where when we say we mean we elderly, we immunocompromised, we sick, we well, we in prison, we free, we who can buffer our way out with money and privilege, and we who definitely can't. Right? Right. What strange times we live through. Nobody alive today has lived through a pandemic. So there's no blueprint, there's no best practices. We are all figuring it out as we're going. There's always opportunity to cast blame, and there's always opportunity to find ways that can support our lives. And we have suspended church for the time being because we simply don't want to overwhelm the medical facilities, the hospitals. We're trying to flatten the curve. We do expect that a lot of people will contract this COVID-19 virus. We just want to slow it down, to allow the medical establishment to catch up and allow for those respirators to free up before the new wave of infected people show up at the hospital. So we have suspended services in person, and instead of that, we are gearing at meeting virtually. And what an opportunity to remember that church, in fact, the spiritual community, in fact, is really not the brick and the mortar. It is us. It is the connection that we have built with one another throughout the years, by coming together week by week. So now is the time to remember that that connection is sustainable, and it is still alive in us, even if we cannot congregate in person for the time being. And we honestly don't know how long this time will be. And as I had mentioned before, we are working hard in setting up live streaming with better quality that is mic'd through our sound system, where we can also engage Nick, so he can produce music for our virtual Sunday services, also with high quality. So we'll be working on that even today after service, this service. How do we live through these times? And I imagine that some of us experience anxiety, stress, perhaps fear, definitely concern. I do notice that about myself, that I am concerned for my elderly parents who live in Hungary. My father, who wouldn't stand much of a chance if he contracted this virus. He has COPD, asthma. He really, his health is just not where we would like it to be. And he's up there in age as well. So I imagine that some of us are also experiencing this kind of stress and concern. And on top of that, we may also experience concerns for our livelihood. Perhaps your workplace has shut down. We may wonder where the next paycheck is going to come from. Also, there is that interruption of life. How do we adapt to a significantly slowed down life where we're isolated? How do we deal with isolation? So prior to this COVID-19, on January 12th, although the physicians and I suspect that I probably had a cerebrospinal leak, spinal fluid leak, for probably years. But on January 12th, that hole really ruptured. And after that, I could no longer stand, walk for more than, I don't know, half a minute or a minute. And I had to bend over, so my upper body was parallel with the ground. And I was hospitalized for a while. Then I went to the U of M, hoping that they would fix me. There they told me that I was inoperable, and they discharged me. And then I said, well, are you saying that for the rest of my life, and I'm only 50, I shall be laying flat in a bed? That is my future. And they said, well, as far as we are concerned, you are inoperable, and go home and Google. We're not the only hospital in the country. So that is precisely what I did. I went home and Googled. I left the U of M as deflated, as hopeful as I went there. And then I went home, I Googled, and I found a surgeon in LA who then I contacted, and he was willing to operate on me. However, between the time of me not being able to walk anymore and having to lay flat and the time of operation, 51 days passed. So for 51 days, I laid flat. And if in the beginning you would have asked me, gee, will you be able to lay for 51 days, not leave the house, not do anything, I would have said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go nuts. Luckily, I didn't know ahead of time that it would last for 51 days. But I tell you what was my way of not going insane, of not going emotionally or spiritually bankrupt, in fact, at all. And that is, about 20 years ago, maybe more, I happened upon a book that is called Loving What Is, and it's written by Byron Katie. And I read it, and I struggled with it. At first I didn't finish it, but I kept picking it up, and then I started applying the spiritual practice that she outlined in that book. I recommend this book. You have a lot of time right now. You're probably at home, laid up. Just go online and order the book and read it. Byron Katie, Loving What Is. It may just help you stay sane as well through this ordeal, this pandemic that we're experiencing at this moment in time. And the one thing that she said, and I struggled with this, was do not resist reality. Reality is what it is. And when you resist it, you struggle, you hurt, you're in pain, but only 100% of the time. And I thought, how can you not resist injustice? How can you not resist illness? How can you not resist pain, difficulties, dysfunctionality? I also was under the impression that unless you resist and you get angry about it, you're going to do nothing about it. That the only thing that would motivate us to act is anger, resistance, maybe indignation. And that is not what I read in that book. And then I learned that in fact, if you love what is, maybe you don't love it, but you just don't resist it anymore. Maybe you don't even like it, but you don't resist it anymore. If it rains, what's the point to resist rain? If it snows, what's the point to resist snow? However, I can't resist it hard enough. I can't get angry enough about it to make it stop. Is that correct? Yes. So it's the same thing. I can't get angry enough about this pandemic to make it stop. However, if I don't resist it, I'm at peace. My mind is clear. Now I can ask the question, now what? What is my next step of action? And I choose my next step of action from a place of calm, peace, and collectedness. So this is my hope and wish for all of us, that we don't panic. We really truly take one day at a time. Just as I did as I was laying down flat on my back for 51 days. And from a place of peace and collectedness, I still found the motivation to find the very best surgeon in the country to operate on me, so I may walk again, I may stand upright again, so I may hold my head high once again. And I was able, with a clear mind, to make 1 million phone calls, to make it happen, call insurance company. There's so many things that I had to organize and orchestrate to make my trip to LA possible and the surgery happen. It is my hope and wish that we all as a community stop resisting what is. Just accept it. And then now what? And I feel like there's also a great opportunity in this slowed down life. An opportunity to look at what's important and what isn't. So that once when life will pick up again, we can make a conscious decision. What is it that we allow back into our schedule? And what is it that we can forever say no to? Never again, no more. Before I thought that this is important, and now I know that it isn't. The other thing that we can do, and I encourage all of us to do, is to consciously reach out to one another. We have the time and we have the means. All of us have phones. We can just pick it up, So when we think about each other, we might as well dial each other's number and just ask, how are you doing? How are you holding up? How's isolation treating you? How can I support you? Do you need anything? Are you staying healthy? Are you staying sane? And then we can have virtual book clubs. We can have scintillating conversations. We can connect and deepen our relationships with one another. I sense that there's also an opportunity in this ordeal. Miriam, our beloved religious education leader, found a poem last night that she sent me, and I would like to read it to you. It is by Rabbi Yosef Kanevsky, who is in LA, Los Angeles, at the B'nai David Judea Synagogue. And this is what he said. Every hand that we don't shake must become a phone call that we place. Every embrace that we avoid must become a verbal expression of warmth and concern. Every inch and every foot that we physically place between ourselves and another must become a thought as to how we might be of help to that other, should the need arise. Our community, I must tell you, has it in spades to care for one another. And take it from me, our fridge is full. Since we returned from LA a week ago, I think it was. Yeah, Friday was a week ago. You guys have brought us cooked food, gift certificates to restaurants. You've called, you've emailed, you've asked. I have never in my life have ever felt this supported by any community. All we ever wish is a strong sense of belonging. And belonging to this community is wonderful. It is wonderful because this community is able to sustain one another. It is able to support one another. So if you are in need, call me. Call the office. If you are low on supplies, call. Let me know. Let the office know. We will take care of you. We will find a way. If you need food, if you need care, or you just need a conversation, call. Reach out. And then let us also connect even if there's not a need. Just to say hello. Isolation can be difficult. We belong. We love each other. And I know that this will carry us through. And then in the meantime, we will meet virtually and we will do the best we can. And if we will learn better, we will do even better. So thank you for joining me today. And I would like to close with yet another poem by Lynn Ungar. As the Jews consider Sabbath the most sacred of times, cease from travel. Cease from buying and selling. Give up, just for now, on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your hearts. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health as long as we shall live. I love you all. I cannot help it. And so it is. Till we meet again. Bye for now.